We would like to welcome everybody here to Sunday, January 19th, here at the 2025 National Western Stock Show, the 119th edition of the greatest 16 days in January. We're going to get started with our percentage Charolais and Charolais Junior Heifer shows here in the historic Stadium Arena. Our judge for today will be Mr. Hunter Agan from Harmony, Minnesota. We'll get started off with Class 201 of our heifer calves. Class 201 will have entries 1209 from McKenna Tucker of Briggsdale, Colorado, 1202 from Britton Kulik of Kimball, Nebraska, and 1203 from Britton Kulik of Kimball, Nebraska. These are your three entries that will make up Class 201 of your percentage junior heifer calves. This is the only class within its division, so our judge, Mr. Hunter, will select your champion and reserve champions from this class because first and second will become your division winners. The National Western Stock Show is presented by Common Spirit Health. They are the proud presenting partner and the official first aid provider of the National Western. Common Spirit Health is committed to unleashing the healing power of humanity through human kindness. You can learn more at mountain.commonspirit.org. The National Western is presented every single year with its generous sponsors. Some of those sponsors also include Sullivan Supply. They're a family-owned and operated company founded in 1989. The innovative leader in livestock show supplies, Sullivan Supply has kept the values of hard work, family ties, and quality products at their core. Sullivan Supply is proud to service the livestock industry and wishes all the exhibitors here at the National Western the best of luck. Saunders Constructions, they are the ones who are building our new legacy facilities, which is down in the yards. Like we mentioned once before, this is the last year in historic Stadium Arena. Saunders Constructions was locally founded in 1972. It is now one of the largest and most stable construction companies in the Centennial State. Saunders offers well-paid positions with opportunities for career growth. You can visit www.saundersinc.com for information and career opportunities. And like we've mentioned, and the theme for this year's stock show is it's the last year up here on the hill for Stadium Arena, this historic building. They've been crowning champions for over 116 years. They started back in 1909. This evening at 5 o'clock will be our Stadium Arena celebrations. Don't miss that.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. What an honor and a privilege to be sorting through your Charolais and Charolais influenced cattle. We get this show started off in a really nice way with a really interesting top duo of heifers here. The young man's more extended and long-sided heifer is going to win this class. I love her length of side. I love her extension about her front 1/3. And I think she's comfortable about her skeleton and still has enough power. That's a really nice place to lead off our percentage Charolais show. Coming here in second, young man brings us one that surely has the advantage in terms of muscle and width over our class winner. For me today, though, she reads as just a little bit quicker. She's not quite as extended and doesn't have quite the length of spine. I would love to lift her up in her pins just a little bit too and match the levelness of hip that our class winner has. A really nice heifer to follow our class winner. The young lady rounding out the class with a solid white heifer. Has a female that's super long and extended and attractive and reads as extremely maternal to me. She's not just quite as tidy and as comfortable about her skeleton as those two heifers in front of her. We need to relax her in her shoulder a bit and fix her there in her hip a touch, but that's a super maternal female with a really bright future for that young lady. Congratulations to all those exhibitors.
Here results for Class 201, third place, 1209 from McKenna Tucker. Second place and your reserve percentage junior heifer calf is entry 1203 from Britton Kulik. And your champion first place junior heifer calf is entry 1202 from Britton Kulik of Kimball, Nebraska. We'll move on to a new division. This is percentage intermediates. Within class 203, which is in the ring at this time, is summer yearling heifers. We have a single entry within this class. 1208 comes from Landry Tibbetts of Mineral Point, Wisconsin. This is the only entry in the class and the only class in its division. So therefore, first place for class 203 will become your champion intermediate percentage heifer.
This young man out here, his heifer's not wanting to sit quite still for him out here, being she's the only one in the single entry class. But he brings us one that is extremely attractive, super highly presented, and when he gets her parked, gives you an awesome outline, tons of look and tons of future. I love how fresh this female is. Congratulations to that young man. It'll be fun to see her out here in our drive in a little bit.
Your results for class 203, first place, and your champion intermediate percentage heifer is entry 1208 from Landry Tibbetts of Mineral Point, Wisconsin. Up next, we'll move on to a new division. This division will now be our percentage junior yearling heifers. We'll have class 204 make their way into the show ring. Now that our class is complete, we will move in class 204 of junior yearling heifers. Within class 204, we have entries 1212 from McKenna Tucker of Briggsdale, Colorado, and entry 1213 from Paxton Hovley of Payette, Idaho. This is the only class in the percentage junior yearling division, so therefore first and second within class 204 becomes your champion and reserve champion junior percentage yearling heifers.
Just two females in this particular division, and a really, really close decision to be made here between these two. The young lady that's going to lead us off, for me, I just think there's more heifer there. You view them from the side, I think she's got more length of side and more depth of body, and I really do appreciate that about her. You set her into motion, and I'm more comfortable about the way she handles her shoulder and the way she uses her knee as she gets out and go. Not that she's fault free. We could relax her in her spine as she gets out and goes. And she's a little bit further along in terms of condition in comparison to our second place heifer out here. Young lady, second place heifer. I love how fresh she is. I love how stout she is when you get behind her. For me, she's just a little bit more upright and not quite as flexible about her shoulder as we set her into motion, and like I said, just not quite as much heifer, a little bit shorter bodied, and that may be okay in some other operations, but for my preference, would love to see her with a little bit more length of side. Congratulations to both those exhibitors. Really nice class.
Results for Class 204, second place, and your reserve percentage junior champion, entry 1212, comes from McKenna Tucker. And your first place percentage junior champion is going to be entry 1213 from Paxton Hovley. At this time, within our percentage show, we will bring back our division winners. Our judge will select your grand and reserve grand champion percentage Charolais heifers. Coming back from your first division of junior heifer calves, your champion 1202 from Britton Kulik of Kimball, Nebraska. The reserve being entry 1203 from Britton Kulik. From your second division, your intermediate champion, entry 1208 from Landry Tibbetts of Mineral Point, Wisconsin. And coming out of your third division, your champion junior 1213 from Paxton Hovley. The reserve being your entry 1212 from McKenna Tucker. Those are your division winners. For your judge, Hunter Egan, to select your grand and reserve champions. So once again, our judge is Mr. Hunter. He comes from Harmony, Minnesota. He operates Oak Meadow Farms alongside his family, where they raise, show, and sell Simmental bulls and females across the country, including their production sale every single February. Hunter has judged multiple shows at all levels across multiple states. Hunter was actively involved with the Junior Simmental Association on the state and national level, alongside with serving on the American Junior Simmental Association Board of Trustees. We know he was here doing a pin of Simmental bulls, so we appreciate Hunter as he judges and evaluates our Charolais show here at the National Western.
Well, the percentage Charolais show wasn't the biggest in number, but there sure is a lot of quality out here, especially when we get our class winners in this particular drive. Out of our first class, a young man brings us a heifer with a really bright future. I love the amount of substance of foot and bone that she has. You get behind her, and there's still plenty of turn and plenty of muscle shape. When you compare her to some of these other heifers out here, we could loosen her up in the way she uses her hip as she travels out here. here, but that's being picky on a heifer that's got a ton of body and a ton of dimension. My compliments to that young man. Out of our second division, that single entry young man brings us one that I complimented for being so attractive, super highly presented, and when he gets her stuck, gives you an incredible look. We set her into motion. I would love to see her use that back left leg just a little bit better, set it down a little square and took a little bit longer stride with it, but that's being picky on a heifer that's super feminine, super attractive, and does a lot of good things. And out of that tough last division, those two very complementary heifers, we got a female that you just have to love the amount of outline. You view her silhouette, I just love the length of body and the depth of side that she has, stands on a big foot and has a big set of legs underneath of her. I really do like that about her, and the same thing could be said. She wants to come up in her spine just a touch out here, and like I said, that's being picky on a really nice female that I feel could go out and raise something for this young lady. Really an outstanding lineup here for this Percentage Charolais show. Let's give all these juniors a round of applause, and I'll go pick you a champion and reserve Percentage Charolais.
Your grand champion Percentage Charolais heifer comes from your third division of juniors. That is entry 1213 from Paxton Hovley of Payette, Idaho. We'll now move into the next slot. Our reserve champion Percentage junior, entry 1212 from McKenna Tucker. Your reserve grand champion Percentage Charolais heifer comes from your second division of intermediates. That is entry 1208 from Landry Tibbetts of Mineral Point, Wisconsin. At this point in time, we will pause our show just briefly for pictures at the backdrop with our champions and our judge. Our official photographers of the National Western, our Legacy Livestock Imaging. Heidi and her team do an amazing job every single year. Please allow them to be the official photographers. They are the only ones allowed taking pictures at the backdrop. No cell phone images back there as well. So once our photo break is done for about 5-10 minutes, we'll get started back up with our next class of Charolais. We'll start up with our Charolais Junior Heifer Show, starting with Class 101A of Heifer Calves. So this will be our first call for our first division of our Charolais 101A class. So once more, everyone that is here is invited to be back here at 5 o'clock for the Stadium Arena celebration. You can join us in celebrating Stadium Arena, which will be a tribute to the champion of livestock, the dedicated exhibitors, and the rich history that is in these walls. There'll be live music from the Eric Golden Band, beer, cocktails, raffles, and, of course, plenty of food to go around. It's presented by the National Western Stock Show, Purina Honor Show, and Trans-Ova Genetics. So be back here at 5 o'clock just after the conclusion of our Charolais show for the wonderful celebration of this historic palace. The National Western Stock Show is presented by multiple sponsors. The Colorado Farm Show is one of the largest and oldest farm shows in the nation. It's a proud sponsor of the National Western. The tradition continues January 28th, 29th, and 30th at Island Grove Regional Park in Greeley. You can see the latest agricultural equipment, visit over 300 exhibitors, attend free seminars with more than 60 engaging speakers, and network with the create of long-lasting connections. And for more information, go to coloradofarmshow.com. John Deere is the official agriculture and turf equipment provider of the National Western. You can visit your local John Deere dealer for great deals now and always in the future. Remember, nothing runs like a Deere. Weaver Livestock, they are committed to helping you be the very best that you can be. Stop by their booth between the Junior Barn and Stadium Arena to check out their full line of show supplies backed by industry experts. Weaver is devoted to fueling your enthusiasm for showing livestock with innovative products here at the National Western. And if you had trouble getting in with the stock show weather, make sure you stop by Les Schwab Tires. When you buy tires at Les Schwab, you're getting more than just tires. You're getting America's best tire warranty. Visit your local Les Schwab Tires today or book your appointment at leschwab.com. We welcome everybody back into our show ring for our Charolais Junior Heifer Show. We have Class 101A entering the ring. Within our class of heifer calves, we have entries 1220 from Avery Knupp of Orion, Illinois. 1221 comes from Brooke Polzin of Darwin, Minnesota. 1222 from Sydney Allard of Sydney, Nebraska. And 1223 comes from Huck Plyer of Hope, Arkansas. These are your 4 entries that make up Class 101A.
We jump into the purebred show here, and we started off with a bang with an awesome top duo of heifers that certainly have their differences. The young lady that I'm going to go ahead and use to win this class brings us one that is so attractive. When you park her from the side, it gives you just such a striking look, and her proportions are so nice. Plenty of body shape and plenty of set to her back leg. That's just an awesome heifer to start this class. I will give the advantage to our heifer here in second for just being a little bit more pulled apart. She is stouter than our class winner, and I will say she is more relaxed in her knee and the way she handles it out here. For me today, though, she's not quite as attractive there in her jaw. She's got a little bit more there on the top side of her neck, not quite as trim in her crest, and she wants to run downhill when this young lady gets her parked out here. But an ultra nice heifer with a super bright future. Coming out here in third, young lady, I compliment you on bringing us a maternal one, and the heifer that has the deepest, the most depth aside in this particular class. She just lacks some of the extras and some of the look as our 2 heifers in front of you, but that's a good maternal female to complement those 2 at the front of this class. And the young man rounding out this class has a heifer plenty of length aside. I love the look she gives you about the front third of her body. She just gives some up in rib shape, in depth aside, and just the pounds and condition of those heifers in front of her. But once again, a super bright future for that young man and his heifer. Congratulations to those exhibitors.
Your results coming in for Class 101A of heifer calves in your purebred Charolais Junior Show. Fourth place, 1223 from Huck Weiler. Third place, 1222 from Sydney Allard. Second place, 1220 from Avery Knupp. And your class winner was entry 1221 from Brooke Polzine. We will clear out our ring and bring up Class 101B of heifer calves. This class will include entries 1224 from Anna Link of Rio, Illinois, 1225 from Tatum Carlson of Henry, Nebraska, and 1229 comes from Brixton Steve Birchke of Oneida, South Dakota. These are your three entries that will make up Class 101B. For those spectators that don't know what you're looking at, these are Charolais cattle. They originated in France. They were originally brought to the United States back in 1936. This all-white breed is easy to spot and is known for their larger frame and heavy muscling. The American International Charolais Association welcomes you to the 2025 National Western Stock Show.
Really a commanding class winner here in the Charolais show. Young man brings us one that is super, super striking when he gets her posed from the side. I love the balance that this heifer has and just gives you a ton of show ring look and gets around the ring really comfortably. That's a really nice heifer. If we're going to pick on her and give an advantage to our second place heifer anywhere, we could widen up her base, see her a little bit wider as she goes away from you, wants to close up at the ground just a touch, but that's being picky on a striking heifer. Really another heifer that's got a ton of body, it's plenty of length aside, a heifer that's got a bright future for this young lady. For me, we just need to level her out in her hip and just square her up at the ground a little bit to see her move up in this particular class. Rounding out the class, this young lady is doing a nice job of sticking with her heifer out here, a heifer that's got plenty of extension through that front 1/3. We just need to relax her on both ends of her skeleton to see her a little bit more comfortable when we set her out on the move. Another really nice class here in the Charolais show.
Your results coming in for Class 101B of your Charolais heifers. Third place, 1224 from Anna Link. Second place, 1225 from Tatum Carlson. And your class winner, 1229 from Brixton Steve Birchke. At this time, we will now bring up Class 101C of heifer calves. So once again in the ring is Class 101C of heifer calves. Within this class we have entries 1230 from Huck Plyler. 1231 comes from McKenna Tucker. 1232 comes from Sydney Allard. 1233 comes from Brock Studer. 1235 comes from Easton Hill. And rounding out our class is entry 1236 from Josie Schrader. These are your entries that will make up Class 101C. This is our last class within our spring heifer division.
Well, the quality keeps coming here in the Charolais show, and this young man leads us off pretty handily. This heifer is just so complete while having a lot of the extras. I love the size of her foot. I love how neat she is about her shoulder and the way she ties that into a extremely attractive front third and is really tidy about her head. For me, an easy place to start this particular class. The young man coming here in second, really pretty similar when you start studying the patterns of our class winner in build and overall look and her balance. For me, she just doesn't have the same amount of substance as foot and bone, just not quite as tidy about the front third of her body, but a really nice female to complement her class winner. Coming here in third, I was really drawn to this young man's heifer because when I see one like this, I picture her going out and raising herself a bull calf or some more females of her caliber, but the same thing could be said. She doesn't have the same amount of foot and bone. We could level her out, especially when you view her hip, and have her not run down the hill so much, but a really high-quality female for that young man. Young lady coming out here next has a heifer that has plenty of hip shape, or plenty of hip dimension, I should say, has some depth of body, also just lacks some of the foot and bone I'm after, and is a little bit more cut up in her flank. If we fix those, she runs up in this class a little higher. Young lady coming out here next, a heifer that's really dense made. There's a lot of volume, and there's a lot of product in a heifer like that, and I can appreciate one with some muscle. We just need to relax her on both ends of her skeleton. The young man rounding out the class brings us a heifer that I think is comfortable at the ground. We just need to see more body, make her just a little bit more attractive to run up in this particular class. Congratulations to all those exhibitors on an awesome lineup.
Your results for Class 101C of heifer calves: 6th place, 1230 from Huck Plyler. 5th place, 1231 from McKenna Tucker. 4th place, 1232 from Sydney Allard. 3rd place, 1236 from Josie Schrader. 2nd place, 1235 from Easton Hill. And your class winner was entry 1233 from Brock Studer. Now making their way into the ring is our class winners from classes 101A, B, and C. Our judge will now select your champion and reserve champion spring heifer calves.
We get our first division, we get our class winners back out here, and truly 3 outstanding females are representing each one of these classes. Out of our first class, arguably one of the most attractive and tightest throated heifers out here in this particular lineup, just so balanced and so smooth. Like we talked during her class, we could maybe relax her there in the front third of her skeleton, and that's being pretty picky on one that I think's got a super bright future. Coming out of our second class, young man brings us one as striking as anything from the side profile, especially when you study her angles and you study her at the ground. If I'm going to pick on her out here, she isn't just the tidiest about her throat latch in comparison to these other heifers, and by no means is she bad there, but it's my job to compare her to the other class winners out here. And as well as when you step in behind her, I could see a little bit more turn to her stifle and a little bit more base width, but you want to talk about one that is striking and super good about her angles, it's going to be that heifer in your second class. And out of our third class in this division, young man brings us one that we complimented for being so big-footed and having so much substance of foot and bone and still having some power and turn, all while being in a smooth and attractive package. A really nice female for that young man. Let's put our hands together for this first division of exhibitors. I'll go pick you a champion reserve Division 1.
Your champion spring heifer calf comes from your third class 101C that has entry 1233 from Brock Studer. We'll now roll in our second place entry for consideration for your reserve spring heifer calf champion. Your reserve spring heifer calf champion comes out of class 101A that is entry 1221 from Brooke Polzine of Darwin, Minnesota. We'll clear out our ring and bring up our next division of junior heifer calves. We'll start off with class 101D of heifer calves. Making their way into our show ring now is going to be Class 101D of heifer calves. Class 101D consists of entries 1239 from Josie Schrader of Wells, Kansas. 1242 comes from Maddie Kruger of Bennington, Kansas. 1243 comes from Briar Blanchette of Edam, Saskatchewan. That's Canada. We have entry 1244 from Cashlyn Krebs of Gordon, Nebraska. And rounding out our class is 1246 from Kelly Gaffney of Barnveld, Wisconsin. Those are your entries that make up Class 101D. This is our first class of our new division of junior heifer calves.
really a challenging class from top to bottom. The young man that's going to lead us off here brings us a heifer that I feel is the most complete out here and the most fault-free. That's not to say that she's perfect. There is still some things we would change. I would love to see her relax there in her pastern just a little bit, especially when we set her into motion. But that's being picky on one. I love her rib shape. I love how attractive she is about the front third of her body while still being adequate about her muscle pattern and square at the ground. A nice class winner. Really a powerful heifer to complement her class winner that I would give the advantage to in terms of volume and mass. It's when you step in behind her, she wants to push out her back leg a little bit, and to me I read her as just a little bit quick. She's a little bit shorter about her cannon bone and just not quite as handy about the way she handles her back leg in comparison to our class winner. Coming out here in third, a really attractive heifer that gives you a ton of look and is super maternal. Today, a young lady, ultimately, you just ran out of body out here. We just need to give her a shot more depth aside to see her move up in this particular class, but a really nice heifer there in third. Coming out in fourth is a heifer I like a lot of things about. I think she's really attractive, and the same thing could be said. Super nice about her body shape and her rib shape. Is really good about the angles to the front third of her body. We just need to change up the way her hip is designed. She wants to round out in her pins a little bit and get a little bit sharper about where she sets her hock. Rounding out the class, it pains me to put a heifer of this caliber in this quality at the bottom of a class because she's super maternal and has a ton of upside. Just lacks some of the bone work and the foot size as some of those heifers in front of her. Congratulations to all those exhibitors on a really nice class.
Your results from Class 101D of heifer calves: 5th place, 1242 from Maddie Kruger. 4th place, 1244 from Cashlyn Krebs. 3rd place, 1243 from Briar Blanchette. 2nd place, 1246 from Kelly Gaffney. And your class winner was entry 1239 from Josie Schrader. Making their way into the ring should be Class 101E of heifer calves. On paper, we have slated 4 total entries for this class. 1248 from J.D. Ledoux. 1249 comes from Charlie Grace Spindle. 1250 comes from Charlie Spindle as well. And 1251 comes from Tana Cassett. Those are your 4 entries that are slated for Class 101E.
high quality duo in this particular group. A young lady leading off the class. Just a lot more heifer here in this one in comparison to our second place heifer. I love the look this one gives you from the side. I talk about it a lot, just being balanced and proportional. And I just love how this heifer puts together so many nice pieces. Super tidy about her chest floor and attractive about that front third of her body. Still has plenty of depth aside, and you get behind her and there's still plenty of turn to her. Really a nice place to start this class. Coming here in second, taking nothing away from this heifer because she is high quality and there's a lot of good to her. Super attractive about that front 1/3, super long bodied, but ultimately today just doesn't have the same amount of size of foot and bone or the depth of size or the overall smoothness and attractiveness as our class winner. Congratulations to both those exhibitors.
Your results for Class 101E of heifer calves, second place 1251 comes from Tana Cassett. And your class winner was entry 1248 coming from J.D. Ledoux of Harold, South Dakota. We will now bring back our class winners from classes 101D and 101E. Our judge will select your champion and reserve champion junior heifer calves.
Only two classes in this division, but four very nice representatives from each of those classes. Out of our first class, young man brings us what I would call like the maternal powerhouse out here. I just love the swoop to her underline, how square she is at the ground. Really just a rock solid female with a ton of good in her. Out of our second class, young lady brings us one, the powerhouse of this lineup. Pretty overwhelming among these other heifers out here just in terms of mass, dimension and width, and then depth aside, all still while being super smooth and balanced from the side. Really an awesome lineup of heifers out here. I'm going to keep it between your class winners. Young lady out of that second class is going to be your champion. Young man out of that first class is going to be reserved. Congratulations.
Your champion junior heifer calf comes out of Class 101E. That is entry 1248 from J.D. Ledoux of Harold, South Dakota. Your reserve champion junior heifer calf comes out of Class 101D. That is entry 1239 from Josie Schrader. Stepping into the ring now is a new division. These are senior heifer calves. We have in the ring Class 102. These are senior heifer calves, calved of November of 2023. We have a single entry within this class. 1252 comes from Tana Cassett of Webb City, Missouri. This is the only class in the division, so therefore first place from Class 102 becomes your champion senior heifer calf.
just a single entry in this division. And this young lady brings us a really powerful, heavy muscled female with a ton of look. I just think this heifer does so many things really, really nicely. So congratulations to her on an outstanding entry. It'll be fun to get her back out here in her final lineup.
Class 102 results. First place and your champion senior heifer calf is entry 1252 from Tana Cassett of Webb City, Missouri. We will now move on to our next division of intermediate heifers. Up next is Class 103A of summer yearling heifers. Class 103A has an entry of 1256 from Andrew Borer of Martinsburg, West Virginia.
A young man out here brings us an extremely striking single entry. When he gets her parked there, just gives you an awesome, awesome silhouette while still getting around the ring rather comfortably. Congratulations to him. It'll be exciting to see her out here against some more competition.
Results for Class 103A of summer yearling heifers. First place, 1256 from Andrew Borer of Martinsburg, West Virginia. We'll clear out our ring and bring up Class 103B. These are still summer yearling heifers. This is our second class and last class for our intermediate division. Class 103 has an entry, 1257, coming from Jalen Sontag of Hays, Kansas.
Another single entry in the Charolais show, and this young lady brings us one extremely long-bodied and attractive female. My compliments to her on keeping a heifer this fresh and getting her through the ring. One will be exciting to see get back out here. Congratulations to this young lady.
Class 103B results. First place, 1257 from Jalen Sontag of Hays, Kansas. At this time, we will now bring back our class winners from classes 103A and 103B. Our judge will select your champion and reserve champion intermediate heifers.
We have our two single entries back out here for this division. In our first one, young man out here, like we talked in our class, is rather imposing from the side. I love the amount of substance of foot and bone that she has. Tremendously deep-sided with a lot of rib shape. And you get behind her, and I think there's enough turn there to her. Really an outstanding female. And out of our second entry out here, young lady brings us one that I will give the advantage to being tidier about the front third of her body there. Just not quite as much body as that first one, but still a high quality female. Let's put our hands together for both these exhibitors, and I'll go pick you a champion reserve in this division.
Your champion intermediate heifer comes from Class 103A. That is entry 1256 from Andrew Borer of Martinsburg, West Virginia. Your reserve intermediate champion heifer comes from Class 103B. That is 1257 from Jalen Sontag. We will work to clear out our ring and bring up our next division of spring heifers. We'll start off with Class 104A of spring yearling heifers for your purebred Charolais show. Stepping in the ring is Class 104A of spring yearling heifers. We have entries 1259 from Carter Hodge of Good Hope, Illinois. 1260 comes from J.D. Ledoux of Harold, South Dakota. 1261 comes from Kirby Lynn Coons of Lakin, Kansas. And 1263 comes from Alina Hanks of Wattage, Illinois.
Four extremely good individuals in this particular class with a fair amount of give and take between all four of them. The heifer that I landed on to win this class just does it based off of flexibility and mobility when we get her out here in the ring. I love she takes long athletic stride, is really tall and neat about her shoulder and her head and her neck. Just really a rock solid heifer and a nice place for me to land in this particular class. The heifer that's coming out here next in second, I would say has the advantages and just a little bit nicer there about her twist, a little bit more depth of twist, maybe just a shot more turn to her stifle. Ultimately just not quite as extended or quite as attractive about her head and neck as our class winner, but that's one that's bold and powerful and a really nice female. My compliments go out to this young lady and the highly presented heifer of the class. Really imposing when she gets stuck out here, but for me today, she's a little bit heavier in condition than those other two heifers, or at least for my opinion, and she's not just quite as coordinated as those other two heifers, especially when you watch how she handles her back two. Rounding out the class, maternal cow power prospect for this young lady, just not quite as smooth or as balanced as three heifers in front of her, but that one has a really nice skeleton, is attractive, and is sure to go out and raise something. Awesome class there of Charolais heifers.
Your results coming in for Class 104A of Spring Yearling Heifers. Fourth place, 1261 from Kirby Coons. Third place, 1263 from Alalina Hanks. Second place, 1260 from JD Ledoux. And your class winner was 1259 from Carter Hogue. Making their way into the ring at this time is now Class 104B of Spring Yearling Purebred Charolais Heifers. We have in this class 1264 from Matthew Bruns of North Platte, Nebraska. 1267 comes from Shayla Dismukes from Oklahoma. And rounding out our class is entry 1265 from Cashlyn Krebs of Gordon, Nebraska. These are your three entries that will make up Class 104B.
Pretty easy place to land in this particular class with the young man's ultra attractive and nicely built female. I love how this one gets out and goes around the ring, and when he gets her parked, it has so much body. Her balance and her proportions are so nice and extremely attractive about that front third of her body. Really a nice class winner out here. Coming in second, this heifer certainly has the advantage in terms of foot and in bone over our class winner. She just lacks some of the extras and some of the extra look and attractiveness as her class winner, but that's a really nice female that has a ton of muscle and really a bright future to go out and raise something for that young lady. Another heavy muscled female to round out her class. To me, though, is just a little bit too moderate for me out here, just a little bit shorter about her cannon bone, not quite as extended about the front third of her body, but once again, a nice heavy muscled heifer in this group of heifers. Congratulations to all those exhibitors.
Results for Class 104B of Spring Yearling Heifers: third place, 1265 from Cashland Krebs. Second place, 1267 from Shayla Dismukes. And your class winner, 1264 from Matthew Bruns. Now we will bring back our class winners from classes 104A and B. Our judge will select your champion and reserve champion spring heifers.
As we get our two class winners in the seconds back out here, I had to take an extra moment to evaluate these heifers and start picking them apart. And I still don't know if I found my answer in this particular division. Out of our first class, our young man brings us an adequate sized leg and a pretty big footed heifer that is so smooth and attractive. You get behind her and has a big hip and has the advantage in terms of having a bigger back and being just a bit more pulled apart. If we're going to pick on her, she maybe doesn't have the same swoop of body as the heifer that follows her, and it just has a shot more chest up there up front, but you have to appreciate the amount of turn and the amount of substance that that female has. And out of that second class, you talk about one that is so nice about her build, especially when she's parked out here. It gives you an awesome outline. I love her angles, and I love the way her joint work is and how she uses it and handles herself around the ring. She's really tidy about her chest floor and her chest in comparison to that heifer right there in front of her. Maybe not near as much as muscle or as turn or as expressive as that heifer that precedes her, and doesn't have the same amount of foot and bone, but that's one that is built super nicely and is so striking to look at from the side. The 2 seconds back there are two really nice females, but for me, ultimately, it comes down to our two class winners. Congratulations to all these exhibitors. I'm going to take one more look and pick you a champion reserve in this division.
Your champion spring heifer comes from Class 104A. That is entry 1259 from Carter Hogue. Your reserve champion comes out of Class 104B. That is entry 1264 from Matthew Bruns. Up next, we'll move into our next division, which is our junior heifers. We'll have Class 104C of junior yearling heifers. We have a single entry within this class. This is entry 1270 from Kelly Gaffney of Barnveld, Wisconsin. This is the only class in the division. Therefore, first place within this division becomes your champion junior heifer.
The single entry February out here, and young lady brings us really a powerful square base female, really a nice cow prospect for this young lady. Still has plenty of look, has the length of side that we're after, plenty of substance of foot and bone. Really a nice female. It'll be exciting to see her get back out here in this grand drive. Congratulations.
Your results for Class 104C of Junior Yearling Heifers. First place and your champion Junior Heifer is entry 1270 from Kelly Gaffney. We will now bring into the ring our next division. These are senior females. We have in the ring now Class 105 of Senior Yearling Heifers. Class 105 consists of entries 1271 from Sutton Hill of Nunn, Colorado. This is the only entry within Class 105. Class 105 is the only class in its division. So first place for Class 105 will become your champion senior female.
Young man brings us another single entry division here. Really an equality pair. I commend him for going through and the amount of work it takes to bring a pair to a show, let alone when it's cold out here in Denver. So my compliments to him. That's really an attractive, long-bodied cow that has a comfortable skeleton and really a high-quality bull calf that has a super bright future for him. Maybe a bred known prospect for that young man. Congratulations to him on a really nice pair.
Your results for Class 105 of Senior Yearling Charolais Heifers. First place in your champion senior female is entry 1271 from Sutton Hill of Nunn, Colorado. Making their way into the ring is now your division champions. From your first division of spring heifer calves, your champion 1233 from Brock Studer of Creston, Iowa. Your reserve spring heifer calf is entry 1221 from Brooke Polzine of Darwin, Minnesota. Your second division of junior heifer calves, your champions 1248 from J.D. Ledoux of Harold, South Dakota. The reserve being 1239 from Josie Schrader of Wells, Kansas. From your third division of senior heifer calves, your champion 1252 from Tana Cassett of Webb City, Missouri. Your fourth division of intermediate heifers, your champions 1256 from Andrew Borer of Martinsburg, West Virginia. Your reserve 1257 from Jalen Sontag of Hayes, Kansas. From your fifth division of spring heifers, 1259 from Carter Hogue of Good Hope, Illinois. The reserve being 1264 from Matthew Bruns of North Platte, Nebraska. Your 6th division, your junior heifer champions, 1270 from Kelly Gaffney of Barveld, Wisconsin. And your 7th and final division of senior females, champion 1271 from Sutton Hill of Nunn, Colorado. These are your division winners for your purebred junior Charolais Heifer Show.
If you're standing around ringside watching this lineup and viewing these cattle, let's put our hands together for all these young people in this great, great set of heifers. First off, I would like to thank the National Western and the Charolais Association for asking me or inviting me out here to sort through your Junior Charolais show. When I had gotten asked, I haven't stopped thinking about it since. It truly is one of the biggest privileges and one of the highest honors that I've had so far in my young life, and I'm really, really appreciative of that. And then you start thinking about the weight of a show like this. The last time that we'll be here in Stadium Arena and all the history that goes along with it. It's been one of my favorite parts of coming to Denver, coming up, sitting in the green seats and watching a show and just seeing so many good cattle, and then sharing your stories and hearing everyone else's stories, generations of people before us, our grandparents and great-grandparents of everyone has their own unique story and unique experience about Denver, and I think that's what makes this so much fun. And it's really good to look back and take in all those great memories, and then to be in the present and realize we're making new ones as we speak. I know it's going to be different, not shown in Stadium Arena next year, but I think it's extremely exciting. We're making advancements. We get a new show building. They're investing in the livestock industry and giving us a new place to go make new memories in a new show arena. And I truly think it's really, really exciting times for not just the cattle industry, but the agriculture industry as well. I'm really thankful for all my crew back down in the yards. They're tearing down the pen right now, so it's saving me a little bit of sweat and some of the labor. And then I'm thankful for my family at home that are calving cows and all that they have taught me and done with me. It's really different when I got asked to do this and word kind of started getting out, or it was posted in the premium book. A lot of people had asked me, "Oh, your dad's not doing it with you," and I said, "Nope, it's my first time, but I feel comfortable because of how much he's taught me." And this truly is fun. It's a great experience. And I'm really thankful for him and that, and everyone on my team in my corner that's making it possible for me to be able to be out here. So back to the cattle. I'm done with my speeches. I'm not going to talk everyone. I'm just going to talk some of my favorites in this particular lineup. A young man out of our first division brings us an extremely attractive heifer that's super unique. She's different. I love the size of foot, that bone that she has, really attractive and gets out and goes rather nicely. She's a little bit cut up in her flank and her twist out here today, but that's still an extremely high quality heifer. Coming next is our female out of this fourth division. She came out of a smaller division and won that pretty handily, mostly just when this young man gets her parked on the side. So big outline. She's really big about her foot and her bone. I love her balance. If we're going to pick on her, though, she's a little bit heavier conditioned, some of the cattle out here. And same thing as our first division. Not quite as deep flanked as some of the other heifers that are out here in this particular lineup, but that's still extremely high caliber heifer that stands on a really nice foot. And then out of that next division, we had that pair of heifers that were extremely high quality with so much give and take. And that young man won that class or that division just for having a little bit more substance of foot and bone. And when you step in behind the cattle, his heifer is just a little bit more expressive, has some of that back shape. When we talked in that division, we could drop her down and give her a shot more sweep to her underline, tidy her up about her chest, but that's a nice heifer. The young man that goes reserve in that division, a female that is built so nicely, super attractive. We love the shape of her body. Like we said, though, in that division, we just need to stouten her up a little bit when we get behind her, give her a shot more foot and bone. My compliments to all of you exhibitors out here. This show's been great. It's truly been an honor and a privilege. So let's put our hands together one more time for these juniors, and I'll go out, pick you a champion and a reserve.
Your grand champion Charolais comes from your 5th division of spring heifers. That is entry 1259 from Carter Hogue of Good Hope, Illinois. Your reserve grand champion comes from the same division. That is entry 1264 from Matthew Bruns of North Platte, Nebraska. Congratulations to all of our Charolais exhibitors. We will be taking pictures at the backdrop, but don't forget, at 5 o'clock sharp, we will start our Stadium Arena celebration here with kicking off with Mr. Eric Golden's band and some raffles and some food. We appreciate everybody joining us for the Charolais show. We'll be back here 5 o'clock for the Stadium Arena celebration.